Hey all, I hope you're having a very suave day. My name is Ron and I'm an Australian living in Berlin in Germany, and not too long ago I took you guys along with me to the German supermarket. Tien, my girlfriend, and I bought a variety of different German snacks and foods. We went back home and I tried them one snack at a time in front of your beautiful faces. Now, if you haven't seen that video already, I'll leave a link in the description box below so you can check it out, as well as a video link at the end of this video. Let me know how you think, but seeing as there are so many different types of foods and snacks in Germany, I thought, why not make another video? So in a short while, I'm going to go out and try to find a variety of different German foods and snacks for us to try. If it so means that we will go to other places other than a typical German supermarket, then so be it. Let's go out, see what we can find. We'll come back home and try them together. Hope you enjoy the video. Let's go. Alright guys, apologies if the audio is a little bit muffled. So this is called Klöße in Germany, and in other parts of Germany it's called Knödel. This type of food is actually, I believe, something that is also very common in Hungarian and Czech cuisine. It literally translates to dumplings, and Germans really like to have dumplings as a side to their meals, whether it be made of meat, potatoes, flour, or all of the above. This one is specifically made from potato. We're going to give it a go, mold it into something that looks like this. I believe Germans tend to like it more on the chewy side, but we're going to roll it up back home and we'll see how it tastes. So this is what's called Spätzle in German. Now they're pretty much just egg noodles. You typically have this with cheese. However, you can have this with pretty much anything as a German side dish if you would like. You can also have this at typical German restaurants, but anybody got time and money for that. Let's take this, boil it up at home and see how it tastes. So we're currently at the cheese section. This is called Harzer Käse, which I wanted to get for you guys. There are different names for it. There's Harzer Käse. I've seen it called Stangenkäse, Harzer Rolle because of its cylindrical form. But essentially it is made from low-fat curd cheese. This is the brand that we usually get. And notice here that there are two forms of Harzer Käse. One is the classical form, which is typically seasoned with cumin seeds. And this is the same thing covered with a bit of mold. So we'll get both of them. It takes a little bit of getting used to in terms of the overall flavor, but we'll try both of these for you guys and we'll see which one tastes better and which one I recommend if you guys want to get something like this. So the next thing on the list is what's called Blutwurst. That literally translates to blood sausage. And I believe there are a couple of ways to eat this, and there are also a couple of styles. You can see in this one, for example, that it has a different look to it. I believe this one you cook it just with boiling water. And these ones, I think you can just eat raw. You can slice them up and fry them in a pan as well. If you slice them up, it kind of looks like this. We're going to take this one and see what we can make out of it. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can actually tell, but I always feel super awkward when I'm filming in public. So it is what it is, but mad respect to those who can actually do it and not give a shit. That's just fat. So for the sweets, I wanted to get something called Baumkuchen, and Baumkuchen literally translates to tree cake. Over here, there are two types that I can see. The first one is the blue one, which is milk chocolate glazed, and the second one is the red one, which is semi-sweet / darkish chocolate. And you know, guys, how I feel about sweet things, so I'm going to get the darkish semi-sweet chocolate, but essentially they're the same thing. It's glazed in chocolate. However, I believe you can get these without the glaze. But what Baumkuchen is a cake that is roasted layer by layer on a spit. So when you cut through the cake, you end up getting this cool pattern that you see something like on the picture of the packaging. But of course, when we get home, we'll cut it up and see how it really looks for you. So we're making our way to Edeka at the moment. We've just finished up at Kaufland, and we're just going to see if there's any other interesting things that we can buy at this time of the day. Check that out. So this is called Kohlrabi. It's very cheap, it's very affordable. It's 59 cents a piece, at least in Edeka. But it looks very funky. I believe it's a type of turnip. But this is something that I haven't seen in Australia. So check it out. We're at the drink section of Edeka right now, and I came across something that I can't exactly say I've seen before in Germany. It's called Sauerkrautsaft. And Sauerkraut I've had before, and for those of you who don't know what Sauerkraut is, it's essentially pickled cabbage, but I've never seen it pressed into a juice. And apparently in terms of the ingredients, it's 99% sauerkraut juice with just 1% of salt or sea salt. It's very affordable, 89 cents. Let's take one. Ich hätte gern eine Bulette im Brötchen, bitte.
Ja, Ketchup oder Senf?
Könnte ich bitte beide haben?
Ja, klar.
Okay, Dankeschön. Perfekt, Dankeschön. Tschüss. So after the supermarket sesh in Edeka, I decided to get something very quick just to have as a snack. So I guess it's an early tasting session for you guys. It's called Bulette im Brötchen, and it's pretty much a meatball in bread, and it's usually coupled with Senf, which is mustard, or ketchup, or both. I got both ketchup and mustard on my Bulette, and you pretty much eat it as is. It's really good. It's a really nice snack. So I'm no meatball expert, so I'm not really sure what exactly it's seasoned with, but it's very, very tasty, and it definitely fills you up. So I just got a notification on my phone to pick up a parcel, so I'm heading there right now to pick it up. And the reason why I'm filming this is because it's actually the last item that I have on the list. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it in the supermarket because it's actually an item that's not that widely available in Germany outside of Christmas time. So there's your clue there. But I'm heading to the post office right now. We'll pick it up and I'll show you what I got back at home.
Hi.
Hallo. Ich habe ein Paket zur Abholung.
Bist du ganz lieb, einmal reingehen und schon mal gucken, ob du deinen Namen siehst im Regal?
Okay, gern. Danke. Have to look for it myself.
Hast du gewonnen?
Ja, ich habe es gefunden.
Genau, einmal mit nach vorne gehen.
Okay. Ciao, schönes Wochenende. Here it is. Nice. Hey guys, just got back home and I'm currently chilling on the balcony because it's such a beautiful day today. I thought, why not do the first taste test outside? And I wanted to try the Quarkbällchen that I got from Kaufland first because, to be honest, the Kaufland that sold these didn't sell it in the freshest form. And the reason that I know that is because usually Quarkbällchen has like a sugar coating on the outside, but this one doesn't, which means that the sugar has been pretty much absorbed by the dough. So that's something that you should probably look out for if you want to buy a fresh Quarkbällchen, is look for Quarkbällchen that still has sugar visible on the outside. What Quarkbällchen essentially is a donut that is made from quark, flour, eggs and sugar. Now quark is essentially a form of cheese that's made by warming up soured milk until it curdles. And you combine that with the rest of the ingredients and you pretty much get this. They're extremely adorable. They're always in this size, the shape of small little ping pong balls, and you pretty much eat them direct. It's a very, very good snack to have. So let's taste it. I mean, I personally can taste that it's not fresh. If you buy it fresh, then the dough is extremely soft and it's very, very moist, and that's what you want. So the closest explanation that I can give to this is that it tastes pretty much like a donut that's coated in sugar without the cinnamon. I don't think there's too much of a difference besides it's made from quark. I don't think I've seen quark that often in Australia, for example, in the grocery stores. So it has a very unique flavor, but overall it tastes very similar to something like a donut. Good snack. So the second thing that we wanted to cook was the Eierspätzle. Now, this is very popular in Bavarian cuisine or Swabian cuisine. And what it essentially is egg noodles. And if you combine eggs, milk, flour and salt, then you pretty much get Eierspätzle. They just put it in some sort of sieve to cut the noodles into something that looks like this. Now, the most famous way to eat this, as I understand, is with cheese. You can eat it with whatever you want, and some Germans like to have it as a side to their meal. But we're going to make it, or at least try to make it the traditional way, which is with cheese. Now, on here you see that we have two different cheeses. We've got cheddar, and you've got Emmental cheese. Just the cheddar is just to add a bit of color, I guess. Over here is feta cheese. And we've just prepped some caramelized onion on this side, and over here is just some cream. What we're going to do is we're going to boil the spätzle in boiling water for around about a minute or a minute and a half. Take it out and put it in a hot pan, a dry hot pan, and combine all the ingredients in, and at the end we'll see how it tastes. So let's just wait until that boils. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just get a hot pan and just put it away from the stove. So what I'm essentially trying to do is have like a thin layer in the bottom of the pan that's evenly dispersed, and then kind of melt the cheese by using the natural heat of the Eierspätzle as well as the pan. So just sprinkle the cheese on like this. Okay, here's the goat's cheese, just spread it evenly as well.
It's feta cheese.
Sorry, feta cheese, yeah. And I just pour it on there, right, like this.
Yeah, that's enough.
And hopefully that will become, in the next several minutes, kind of like a mac and cheese or something like that. So the pasta is, as I understand, quite airy. So when they make the dough, they incorporate a lot of air into it. So I'm very keen to see how this one tastes. I haven't made this before. There you go. And I believe in the end, what you can do also is to garnish it with a bit of petersilia. What's that called? Like parsley? Yeah. So you can put parsley on the top just as a bit of garnish as well, and for a little bit of flavor. And you would just put a little bit of caramelized onion, right? Just like that. You want to have a go?
No.
Jesus, that's a lot of cheese. Are you sure that's how much cheese I put in there?
Yeah.
Wow. So the caramelized onion is not a must, but it's so good with it. It couples with it really, really well. You can try later on as well, Tian. I don't know, I think it is what it is. So we didn't season it with anything else besides the ingredients that are on the table right now. Overall, it tastes really good. That's exactly what you would imagine. So egg noodles with cheese. Jesus. Yeah, I would say 8 or 9 out of 10. I probably wouldn't eat this every day though. So the next thing that we wanted to try was the Harzer. You can see that we have two versions of the Harzer here. I believe a lot of people that have stricter diets in Germany really like this because of the macros that it has. Per 100 grams, which is half of this roll, it contains 0.5 grams of fat, 0.1 grams of carbs, and 30 grams of protein. So insanely good macros. The only con is that it might take a little bit of getting used to in terms of flavor. So it is, I must say, a little bit pungent, and I'll show you a hack you can get past that if you really want to have this or incorporate this as part of your diet. So let's try both of them and I'll give you a quick review. You can see when I open it, it's already kind of cut into pieces for you. And my experience is that the closer it is to the expiry date, the better it becomes. It has more of a chewy texture without the milky powdery part in the inside. So you can see in this one, this standard one, it has cumin seeds inside, if you can see that. But it hasn't got the rind. I have had this before. Oh. So if you haven't had something like this in the past, it'll definitely take some getting used to. I must say, it's super pungent. and it's not for everyone. I think you can also, Tien just mentioned that you can also have chips, like you can make chips out of these. So I think you can just cut it into slices, right?
No,
that
just
right,
cut
or-
it small and then melt it on a baking sheet in the microwave.
So that's something that you can do. It's super stinky, like honestly, it doesn't really taste that great. I would honestly give it like 5 out of 10 because I'm not a big fan of stinky cheeses, but if stinky cheese is something that you like, then I have no doubt that you'll also like this. So let's move on to the next version of it. This version is personally my favorite. You can see the difference here. This one has mold and some sort of rind on the outside, but this one doesn't really. And the reason why it's my favorite is because it has the macros that you want if you have a high protein diet without the stinkiness of the original Hartzekäse. So as contrary as it sounds, the mold in this on the outside actually reduces the pungency of it, if that's even a word. So for those of you who haven't tried Hartzekäse, or you tried that one, the one that I tried first, and didn't like it, give it another go with this Edelschimmel, which is the mold, and see how you like it. Much, much better. Like I could snack on this all day and it's so healthy for you. Yeah, if I were to compare the original with this one, I would say original, 5 out of 10. This one, 9 or 10 out of 10. Hey guys, so it's a new day today. I didn't want to eat everything yesterday, but I wanted to eat this kohlrabi as the next food because it's in the middle of summer at the moment and it's really hot, and we left the vegetable outside, and so you can see the leaves are already starting to get a little bit yellow. Now, with kohlrabi, I believe you can actually eat the leaves as well, right, Jan? Yeah, when they're still green, you can eat the leaves. And usually what Germans like to do is they chop off the leaves, and you can use that separately. You can boil them. So we're going to set that aside. Some of them are obviously not that great anymore, but with the main kind of body of the vegetable, you would simply just slice off the outer layer of it and then eat the inside. So we're gonna slice off the outside a little bit, and we'll come back to you when everything is cut off. So I'm kind of midway through cutting the kohlrabi, and you can see over here, this is where the bottom part of the kohlrabi was. There's a little bit of white there. You want to cut that off because that part is apparently very chewy. So I've just cut the outer layer of the kohlrabi. It didn't take too long. And the good thing about kohlrabi is it's so versatile, meaning you can eat it raw, you can steam it, you can stir fry it, you can put it in a soup. So that's why Germans really like this, because you can use it for pretty much anything, and it's a vegetable, it's healthy for you. So what I'm going to do is just to cut it up into little sticks, I guess, and just have it raw, so we can experience the actual flavor without putting it in soup or anything like that. What this tastes like is kind of like the bottom of a broccoli. So if you cut the stem off of a broccoli and just boil it, it tastes really good. I'd be very grateful if you let me know in the comments below whether you guys have this in the country that you're watching from. But from what I understand, it is quite unique to Germany and potentially the countries around Germany. So the next thing that I wanted to have while we're still in the kitchen was this Sauerkrautsaft. Now, I'm not sure whether or not I should be excited or a bit nervous because I know what sauerkraut tastes like. It is pretty intense if you haven't had that before, quite sour. It's pickled cabbage. And apparently it's very good for you. So it inhibits the growth of bad bacteria in the body and promotes and encourages growth of good bacteria in the body. So I'm going to have this direct, but let me know in the comments below for those of you who are German, whether or not you guys have this like maybe on a daily basis, or if it's something that you just pour in a cup and drink it straight up, or do you use this for like a recipe or something like that? What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drink it direct and see how it tastes. It smells like a plant, like a root vegetable for some reason. It doesn't smell sour. Okay, so I don't know if that's like too much, because I'm expecting it to be pretty sour. Oh, it's like making my eyebrows twitch. The best way I could explain it is if you have like pickled anything, you just drink the juice straight up. That's exactly what it tastes like. So I'm not sure how much you're supposed to drink a day or whether or not there are limitations, but Tien also hasn't tried this, so I'm not sure if it's a common thing in Germany to ingest this, but I'm gonna pour a little bit for Tien and she can also explain to you what it tastes like from her opinion.
Quite sour, but it's kind of like when you eat sauerkraut straight out of the package without cooking it. Like, I imagine that would be what the juice tastes like that's left in the jar after you've cooked all the sauerkraut.
Yeah, because sauerkraut is slightly stronger when it's not cooked, right?
Yeah. Also, you season it and stuff and it mellows out the taste.
Yeah, it has a different taste. So yeah, fresh kind of pickled juice, I guess. So this is what I decided to get online. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a little bit harder to get throughout the year, but it is widely available throughout the Christmas season, in which case it's called Weihnachtsstollen. Now, Stollen is a type of bread, and it's a slightly denser bread, typically containing nuts, fruits, and some powdered sugar on top. Now, to some people that might not actually sound that amazing, but if you ever encounter one, then definitely give it a try because it's actually quite good and rather addicting. So without actually cutting this one open, you can see that first off, it's got some powdered sugar on the top, and it's got what looks to be raisins or some sort of fruit. So this is what Stollen looks like on the inside, and Germans usually like to cut this in thin slices and enjoy them throughout the Christmas period. And they can have it direct or they can pair it with their beverage of choice. It is originally from Dresden, and so I had to order it from a cafe there. Let's have a taste now. That is amazing. So I'm not the biggest fan of sweet things, as you might know, and Stollen is a sweeter bread, so it's not the first thing that I would pick up when I go to the pantry. But it's really, really addicting. There's something about it that is really, really nice, and it invites a Christmassy flavor to your mouth. I don't think I've had Stollen this fresh before, even during Christmas. So this is a big win for me, and I think Tien will like it as well. That's a 10 out of 10, and I don't even like sweets, so that's saying something. Hey guys, it's day 3, and we only have 3 more foods to try that we bought from the supermarket the other day. I wanted to try, first off, this Blutwurst. As I mentioned in the supermarket, there's a few versions of Blutwurst. There's this one, which is kind of like a coagulated blood sort of a thing. It's very soft and you can spoon it directly into your mouth. And there's also ones that you can slice and eat it directly or pan fry it. So the one we got is the former, and I've got some boiling water right now. What I'm going to do is just chuck it in the boiling water for maybe around 2-3 minutes. And then we're just going to cut it up and eat it directly as is. So it's not that enjoyable when you eat it cold, but you can eat it cold, meaning that it's cooked. So what we're essentially doing right now is just to warm it up. So while this is heating up, I wanted to say that there are quite a number of ways to make this. The first one is just to eat it directly, like with a spoon, and that's also enjoyable, but there are also other ways. You can put it on toast bread, you can put it on a bun or a bread roll, and you can also put it as a side dish with things like sauerkraut or potatoes and have it as a meal. I think there's actually a name for that in German. I think it's called Tote Oma, which literally translates to dead grandma. I don't know how they came up with that name, but I guess if you cut open the sausage and you spilt it all over the floor, it could probably pass by as a murder scene. So it could have been in there a little bit longer. It's just warm, it's not hot. But again, I just ate it directly and it's amazing. It's really good. And if you want to try something new, then definitely pick one of those up and give it a try yourself. So if you're wondering what exactly is inside, there's pork, there's pork blood, and there's some fat. I would say 9 out of 10. We're finally up to the second last thing to eat, and this is called Kartoffelklöße. It was one of the first things that we got from Kaufland. So I've got some water that's in process of coming to a boil, and while that's about to happen, I'm going to roll some of these into little balls. You don't have to do anything else to it, just roll it up into a ball and put it straight in the pot. Because we only have a very small pot running, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, but usually they're a little bit bigger. So just an FYI anyway. These are pretty much raw potatoes, by the way, so they mash raw potatoes up. They take a little bit of the water out and you're left with the ingredients in that packet. A good indicator to see when they're done is actually to wait until the balls float to the top of the pot. So while we're waiting for this to cook, I'm going to quickly go out and I'll pick up the Baumkuchen so we can try that as the last food item on the list. So this is the Baumkuchen that we got. It's the one that was coated in a semi-sweet chocolate. Let's open it and give it a go. Just gonna cut it straight down like this. And I'm gonna cut it like this so you guys can see the inside. There you go. So you can see the individual layers in there. Sometimes they're different colors depending on the type of ingredients in each layer of the dough that they have. So let's quickly try this out because the Klöße is nearly done. I really like this. It's pretty much like a sponge cake consistency that's coated in a little bit of chocolate that's not too sweet. I give it 9 out of 10. Ideally, you would want them to be kind of like chewy in texture. I don't feel like I'm giving the Klöße justice because I'm going to have it directly, but usually you would have it as a side to your meal. So whether it be a roast or like a Schweinshaxe, something like that, I'm going to eat it directly, but keep in mind that that's not exactly how you would eat it. You would eat it with something else plus maybe a little bit of gravy on top. I've never had Klöße by itself. I've always had it with something, and this is amazing. I could probably eat that whole bowl by itself. It's really tasty. What gives it that taste? Is it the salt?
They do have salt, yeah.
Yeah. I love potatoes, I love carbs, so I give this a 10 out of 10. So there we are, guys. We made it. And you guys already know that there are many other foods and snacks that we can try in this country. So if this sort of content is something that you're interested in, let me know if you want to see more by giving this video a like. My favorite food item was by far the Harzer-Käse, at least the one with the mold. And the Stollen was also really good because of how fresh it was. But are there food items that you would like to try now that you've watched this video? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, I hope you have a really nice day or night, depending on where you're watching from, and I'll see you guys in the next one.